We have two suits.
Okay.
Actually, there's a civil suit against Vice President Cheney, Karl Rove, Scooter Libby, and Dick Armitage. That's the one I just described, that the appeal before the three-court appellate judge was dismissed. We're going to go en banc and take it to the Supreme Court. For any of your viewers that might be interested in more information and how they can help contribute, because justice is very expensive.
Right.
We have a website. It's www.wilsonsupport.org. We have all the papers related to the case, the background, links, and everything is there. The other lawsuit we have is against the CIA. It's a First Amendment case. As I spoke about early on, the CIA has taken the position that I am not permitted to acknowledge my agency affiliation prior to January 2002, despite all the information out there, all the publicity, all the information in the public domain. It has nothing to do with protecting national security information. It has everything to do with a vindictiveness, and certainly the administration did not want me to publish my book. And they thought that this was a way around it. Fortunately, my publisher came up with what I think were two good ideas. One, he left in the redactions. The publisher left in the redactions in the book, so the reader has a good idea of
the punitive nature of the CIA.
Of what was classified.
20%. Was it 20% of the
no,
book?
No, less than that. However, what I can say is that underneath most of those black lines, it all relates to this notion that apparently I did not exist before 2002. So we saw that simply as censorship. Mm-hmm. And after at least a year of trying to negotiate and find a rational compromise with the agency, because I'm a professional intelligence officer. I have no desire to reveal any sort of classified or not truly national security information. But it was clear that they were not going to budge from this position. So we felt we had no choice but to go ahead and file a lawsuit, First Amendment. It's censorship. That case is also on appeal, and the oral arguments will be heard probably sometime this fall in New York. I look forward to attending that. There is also a website for that case. It's fairgameplame.com. Again, it has all the documents and background on the case and where we are and why this matters.
So there's two different websites. We'll be sure and we'll put the slides in so that the viewers can see those too. But they're www.fairgameplame.com. And the other one was www.wilsonsupport.org. Okay, good. Mm-hmm. We'll make sure that we get those in a couple of different times.
So that's why we've got a lot of lawsuits. We've talked to a lot of lawyers often.
Well, and the thing that is so important about this, one of the recommendations I had thought about making was that if there were more lawsuits related to what the administration has done, it does a couple of things. One, it keeps the issues in the forefront of Americans' minds. Since the American media is owned and operated and controlled by, basically 5 entities, 74% of all radio stations in America are controlled by 3 entities. It is very easy to get stuck in this kind of talking point mode that parrots what the administration says, rather than really digging through for the truth of what needs to be told to the American people, explained. And so lawsuits have a way of doing that. It keeps it in the forefront every time something happens related to it. But one of the lawsuits that I thought would be an excellent lawsuit was, there's actually 3 of them, but I'll tell you about 2. One is I thought that American soldiers that are coming back, that were subjected to the demands of engaging in torture techniques. And in the book, I talk about this in a chapter called God Bless the Troops, whereby Donald Rumsfeld demanded that torture be implemented, and in fact fired the generals who refused to engage in that. And so our American troops that are coming back, that are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, that they could file under a lawsuit that they were forced to engage in these kinds of behaviors. I think that would be an excellent lawsuit. And the second, people that listen predominantly to Fox News, should file a lawsuit that what is being fed to them as news is nothing more than propaganda. I think that would make an excellent lawsuit because it would force the issue and force the questions. So I, again, applaud you for continuing this brave march towards justice. And what do you think would be the best outcome as a result of these lawsuits? I mean, if you had a magic wand, what would be the
complete vindication, complete victory?
And what?
Next,
yes, right. But people talk about war. You know, we want to win in Iraq, and that makes me crazy. I say we've won. There were no WMDs.
Well,
Saddam is dead. Okay, what?
Joe and I just felt we have no other options to pursue. Other than through the existing judicial system. We still, you're absolutely right, it is become much more politicized, the Department of Justice, than is healthy. Nevertheless, we still believe in the justice system as a whole, and we will continue with these two cases until we can go no further. So
I mean, personally, what I believe justice would be is that people that cooked the books, that lied about Iraq. And I want to segue just really quickly over to Douglas Feith, you know, the Office of Special Plans that was in the Pentagon, a billion-dollar agency that is now defunct. It's my understanding from all my vast research that this is where a lot of this information was kind of cooked up, these allegations. I mean, we have a new book, Ron Susskind's book, that he says there was a letter from the top person in Saddam Hussein's administration that says, look, we have no WMDs. This is Saddam trying to fend off any attacks from Iran and just being the big mouth guy that he is. And that letter was held quietly, and instead this guy wrote another letter and was given $5 million in hush money. I mean, how can you continue to get away with these things? Those are not only treasonous, but it's beyond words. So to me, those people that engaged in that behavior should be put in jail for the rest of their lives, their assets, whatever assets they have, sold and returned to the Treasury. That to me is justice. And people that they have destroyed their lives, be compensated in some manner. So do you see justice along those lines, or?
That's a really broad, I mean, all that Joe and I have is the reality of what we can pursue. And we felt that this was something we thought we were just doing the right thing. We're not perfect, but you know what? We sleep well at night because we think that we are proceeding the way that we should. And of course, the whole country now is it's becoming very agitated as the election season gets shorter and everyone gets even more shrill, and it really is it's very difficult for me to watch the election coverage just because so much of it, I think, is quite superficial and doesn't have much to do with the real issues, but rather just the personalities involved. So a lot of this will remain to be seen what happens after November, the elections.
That's an interesting idea, and I totally agree with you. If we don't have a counterbalance to what has been going on, we can probably plan to proceed down the same path that we've been going along. The continued cover-up of abuses that have occurred in this administration.